Thank you, everyone. So we're going to be starting right about now, and we already have our facilitator with us in person of Mr. Caleb, and he is the product manager here at Wokkah. So Caleb, how are you doing today?
Hi, Ade.
Hi, Caleb. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Oh, I'm audible.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay, awesome.
Yes. So thank you. Let's just go right ahead and to start because our time is already counting. I'm sure others are going to join along the line and they can always catch up on the replays once we're done. So please go ahead, Caleb. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Hello again. Hope everyone is doing great. So my name is Caleb, and I am product lead at Wokkah. So the idea of me being here is to help us get a bit more practical, right? Because we've been learning quite a number of things. But with this session and some other sessions that would come after, it would actually be building stuff and actually making use of what we have been learning, all of the automation, all the skills we've been learning. The series is Profit with AI, right? So the idea is just to get practical, actually build and actually launch stuff that would be useful and can do well out there. So that is the objective, and it would be a multi-part session. I don't think we'll be able to finish everything this night. So I think in the subsequent weeks we can pick it up and continue. But we would actually be building a product from beginning to the end right here. I hope we're all excited. Awesome. Okay, so nice. Okay, so everyone, we all have ideas, right? There's one app idea, there's one business idea, there's one next level solution that we have in mind that we want to build, right? And the instinct, it usually now with the advent of artificial intelligence and all of the tools, all of the 100 million tools out there, is just to go in with that idea you have and start building stuff. But there's a way to approach things that would make things more systemic and more easy to execute. So let me share my screen. I think I have some slides. Let me know when you see them. Can you see the screen? Can anyone see my screen? Hello?
Yes, yes, we can see your screen.
Yes,
Okay.
you can see
Okay.
your screen.
Okay, yeah. So, like I mentioned, everyone, there's an idea that is there, there's a software idea, whatever idea, the next billion-dollar idea. But the mistake people make, and it's caused by the fact that there's just so many tools. Now, the problem is not the tools, the problem is the execution. So I'll be sharing some tips on how to approach building and how to go step by step from idea to product. So the idea is zero to deployed. The topic is zero to deployed rather. Right. So the flow that people usually go through is I have an idea, I wake up in the middle of the night, something drops in my head, and then I just open ChatGPT, right? I go in, I enter, build me the next $1 billion company or application, right? And then AI just takes that. There is no guardrails, a lot of assumptions is being made on what you want. There is no clear understanding of who the user is, who would be using the app, how it would be used, what the access layers are, what the data models would be like. So AI just goes to work and spits out something, right? And at the end, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't work good, it breaks when you push it. Most times it doesn't even, you're not even able to deploy it, right? Yeah, so but there's another approach that starts with definition. Before you write one line of code, defining the vision just in text, right? Defining the vision in a structured way that would serve as constraint for the AI, such that at every point, every feature, everything you want to build, everything you are envisioning, right, is already specified in that body of text, right? And then the AI has to stick to that and not just make assumptions. So with that, you can go very fast from idea to your first MVP. Another mistake people make is people give AI too much to do. If you go to ChatGPT and you say, build me the next Instagram, right? Instagram has a lot of features, hundreds of features, right? Stories, likes, shares, whatever. The AI would, of course, based on what you've said, right? The AI will try to just give you everything. But getting the foundation right is very, very important. That's why the concept of building an MVP for just few features that would serve as the foundation, that would serve as the foundation of whatever you want to build is very important. And that's to be specified in that document. So that document is the PRD, and you're just making three decisions, right? What problem am I solving? What problem does my app want to solve? What exact features do I need first, right? Of course, you can't build the next Instagram if you don't have authentication. You can't build the next page stack if you don't have security. So there are some core features that have to work very well before you can actually build build something solid. So three main questions. What is the problem? Who am I solving for? What are the exact features I want? At the beginning, the features should not be much, just maybe like two, three, four. And then the next part, what am I not building? So this third one is actually more important because it helps you focus. It helps you focus because you might not be the one actually building it. It's that excitement of, hey, build this, build this, build this. You just want to throw everything at the artificial intelligence, and at the end of the day, the output is not good. So these three questions are very important. What is the problem? That's like the most important. Who is going to use the app? Will the app have any users? Is anybody going to be interested in the application? What features am I building? And what am I not building? So answer to the answer to one and two is what goes into the PRD. Is what goes into the PRD where you specify the problem, the target audience, the features, what is out of scope, and what success looks like. Hope you're tracking with me. All right. Awesome. Yeah, so that document is actually the most important in any AI development workflow. The PRD, of course, it can be a markdown. You can just type it out, preferably AI handle the handle markdown. This .md is a markdown file. And AI really likes that document format. Of course, you can add other document formats, maybe PDF or whatever, but the AI really, really works well with markdowns. So what are we going to be building? We're going to be building an application. I was gonna ask like ideas some of us have already, but maybe when people join. I could throw out that question. So you get to share some of the ideas you have. But for this series, we'll be building a kind of builders community where all of us, everybody in the community can actually share ideas, share problems, and actually validate those problems, and then maybe find interested co-founders or co-builders that we can collaborate with. So it's we're going to start small, but it's going to get more and more features as things as we go on in the series. But like I mentioned, you don't want to overload at the beginning with too many features, right? So on the surface, that is what we'll be building an application for this community where people can collaborate, share ideas, build together, and it will be a living artifact even after the series is done, right? So the idea is shipyard. I just named the shipyard. We would actually be building every part of it and deploying it right here in the series. So that is the plan. Um, are you guys tracking with me? Can I get some emojis if you guys are tracking up to this point? Awesome. Okay, nice, nice. Right. So first step, of course, we have identified our problem, right? A way to coordinate collaboration, right, in this tech and AI builders community. That's the problem. We already know who the users are. The users would be ourselves, right? It would be Joel, it would be Dennis, it would be Elijah, and myself. And then we already know the core features. Of course, we would have authentication. We would have the ability to list your like post your problem, like maybe like a mini Twitter or mini X, post your problem. So you'll be able to like rate problems, you'll be able to comment. And then there would be the collaboration feature where you can find people that are interested in that idea, and the system would match you guys together and you can continue working right there and sharing your updates on the platform. So that is the vision, but we're going to start very, very, very small. So yeah, we have okay, maybe later we'll be adding payments for premium features and all of that because we want to build a product everyone can we want to build a product we can profit with, right? So all of those features will come later, but not at the beginning. So with that, we already have the key information we need for our PRD. What do you guys think about that platform? I want to see some comments. What else do you think we need to add or remove? Anyways, I'll put an eye on the chat. Okay, so we have our mission now, we have our objective, we know what we want to do. So what comes next? For so let's generate that PRD first. Let me reshare that part of my screen. Okay. Okay, so I open my ChatGPT. You can use any platform, X or Gemini or whatever platform, right? And it generates the PRD. Can you see my screen? I believe we should be able to see my screen now. Okay. Okay, while that opens, let me just show what final the final PRD looks like. I think it's taking a while to open up. So it looks like this. Right. You can see the problem statement, you can see the target users, you can see the core features. So would have a public feed. People will be able to see what's happening in the community. We'll be able to post maybe a build, an idea, or a problem. And then people will be able to upvote, like I mentioned. People would be able to filter by category, and people would be able to it will be responsive so that people can use it on their mobile phones. So that's just a simple PRD document. Some other needed stuff would be there. Look, this is the out of scope. What is out of scope in this session? Because we're not worrying about authentication yet. We're not worrying about comments yet. We're not worried about mobile applications yet. So something simple to start with. So the AI will be able to generate much more aligned outputs with this than with just going to AI and say build this for me, build that for me. So now we have our PRD, we are ready to go, right? I'm sure many people, especially the technical ones, would be would already be thinking about what stack to use, what tool to use, the back end, the front end, the whatever. But there is a step that is actually very important. Fine, we have an idea, we know the users, we know the problem and all of that in our head. We're already seeing we're already seeing the profits. But there is a very important step that many people miss, which is the validation step. We want to go from idea to product very fast. But the build steps here, it's still a lot, right? We still, before we can actually say we have a product, we need to build these five things. But how can we go to market today, right? Like today, without actually having to build out all of this now. So that is where the validation step comes in, and it's something many founders, many technical people, even non-technical people skip a lot because, of course, you in your head you would have 1 billion users, but the validation step where you actually experiment with real people, with real market, not just yourself. Because when it's just you looking at it, you would make a lot of assumptions. Funny thing is, it might not even be a problem that people want, that people have, right? So validation is important. And with the tools we have now, it's not been easier to actually validate. So before we actually build, before we write one line of code, we would validate. How are we going to validate? We would be we would deploy a landing page with a wait list because the landing page would have everything we want, like the offer, the value, and everything would be there. But instead of all of the features, the login and all that, the most important feature, which is interests, we want to know, would people be interested in this product, right? That is what we want to capture. And that is what we would be doing first. So to do that, that can be done in 15, 20 minutes. Is zero to deployed. That's a series, right? From idea to validation, then you can build. If you skip the validation phase, there is a high risk that, hey, maybe you might just waste your time on that idea at the end of the day, or maybe there'll be a signal for you to pivot or do something else, something close to the idea you have, but not the original idea you have. So what do we need for the validation? We don't need so much. We don't need to start worrying about stack and code at this point. All we need is a landing page, and to do that, we just need an HTML landing page and somewhere to store the data, right? So in 15 minutes, if someone can start the time, we can actually do that. So the first important thing is, where do we store the responses? So we want to collect people's emails. We want to collect their names. Those two are important. We want to collect, those two are like the most important. We don't want to overload the user that might be interested with information we don't need at that point. Later, when we build out the app to a point where it's useful, we can present the forms to collect other pieces of information. So we need a place to store that information, the name, the email, so that we can see, to be the first point of validation for us. Oh, I'm having users that are actually waiting for this product. So that is motivation enough that I am actually going to build the product. Imagine having 30 users without writing one line of code yet. That is serious validation, better than having an idea of something that you are building, that you have been building for 2 months, that is not out there yet. Right. So what do you need? We need somewhere to store all of that. And there are many tools. Tools at this point is not the problem. In fact, too much tools is becoming the problem. So one easy tool is Airtable. I'm sure we must be familiar with Airtable. If you're familiar with Airtable, you can drop an emoji or you can signify in the chat. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So Airtable would just like a it's just like a spreadsheet. Of course, it does more than that, way more than that, but essentially it's like a spreadsheet that you can store your information on, to collect information. So now you have your database, so to say, at this point. And then so that is set. When you go to airtable.com, you create a base, and then it looks like this. So I created this one earlier. I called it Builders Community Waitlist. You can call it anything. Then you had the columns, the data you want to collect. So for Shipyard, which is the product we'll be building, of course, I want the name of the user, the email of the user. The email is the most important to me. The sign up date, so that I can use to compute some metric if I want to know maybe the time interest peaked, or whatever thing I want to use. Because our platform would require like matching, skill matching, we're collecting their interests and skills. Because if we are saying we are building a builders community, someone who's a UI designer, someone who is an ML designer, you want to know that, so that you'll be able to know what kind of people are actually interested in your platform, right? Imagine the people you are seeing in interest or skills. You're seeing financial analysts, you're seeing other skills. To be a signal that maybe I should build something for finance or something for insurance or whatever. So that is why validation is important. So at this point, we've still not written a line of code, but we are building out our pipeline to validate. Are you tracking with me? Or does anyone have any question at this point? All right. Okay, so what we'll need next is the page, right? And with ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever page, you don't need something too crazy, too fancy. It's validation at this point. You can just go to GPT, just one HTML page, right? Like we said, we want the least effort to validation. So you can go to ChatGPT and say, or maybe to Claude and say, hey Claude, I want a landing page for I want a landing page for Shipyard. It would have this. Or you can just paste the PRD that we generated earlier and say you want just a simple landing page, and with a waitlist form, right? So I did that, and I got this. So this is just an HTML page that was generated based on what I entered. So this is shipyard. This is what that waitlist looks like. Of course, we don't have authentication and all of that here. It is early access, right? But the key information we need, the name and the email, like I said, is there, and other information. So this is so with just GPT, just one prompt and say, hey, build me this. And then with the Airtable integration, you're ready to start collecting information about the app you have not built yet. So okay, let me just show how it works, what it collects, right? So this is the most important thing. One mistake people usually make is at this point, people attempted to introduce a number of fields, right? I want to capture everything at this point. So if you're not using that information at that point, you can defer the collection so that the user would not be fatigued to continue. Because if imagine here there is phone number, there are some personal information I want to collect. At this point, we're just starting the relationship with the user, right? So we want to keep that information very, very limited and relevant, right? So then the step two, the user can now pick what are you interested in, product management, okay, what are your skills, UI design, fundraising, and then like that, they can join. And then when they join, the data goes to where? The data goes to Airtable. So the pipeline from your page, we have our page, we have somewhere to store it now. Okay, I think I already added that user. So there's one more thing. How do we actually get out there? Now we're collecting, we have a mechanism to collect. So next step is how are we getting there? How do we get in front of the users? At this point, we are not worrying about complexity. So there are many, many deployment options. But the easiest, because this is just one HTML file, remember, that ChatGPT created for us with the form. Oh, okay, I think I skipped one part, which is the part where we connect the form to the database, right? So Airtable gives us like personal tokens, like API keys. API keys you can connect. So if you go to your profile and I might not be able to show mine, even though I will delete it later. If you go to your profile and under Developer Hub, you would see the API keys. You would see the API keys, and let me show you where you can get that. Right, if you go here, Developer Hub, and then you create, this is just something you can do in one step. You create the API key. So this API key is what you drop in your HTML file, right? Did you get that? If you got that, because that step is important. You need to have a way to connect your database to your page, right? So you pick that API key and then you come to your HTML file, because this is what you don't have to worry about this. This is the only thing you need to worry about is where you paste the key. Right. So this is the key. You paste the personal access token. I'm going to delete it at the end. That's why I'm sharing it now. The base ID. So while spreadsheets like Excel and maybe Google Sheet, they use sheets, right? Sheets and tables. Airtable uses base. So to get your base ID, when you open that stuff you created, where you enter the rows and columns, the URL of that page, that's where you get the base ID. So this, you can see airtable.com, this app, right, that begins with app. That notation that is prefixed with app is your base ID. So you copy that, dump that in your HTML. And then the last piece is the actual sheets where the data is, because Airtable allows a number of views. So you can see this is the name of the view. It's called waitlist. And then I've put that here, waitlist. So those three things is all you need. And you'd be able to connect your form to your Airtable. So there's one piece missing. Now we are still running locally. We are submitting, but we're still running locally. How do we get our idea to the world? Now, there's this tool called Netlify that makes deploying stuff really very simple because we are still in HTML stage here. We're not doing anything complex. This is something you can do in 10 minutes, right? So there's something called Netlify Drop. You might want to check that out. Netlify Drop that just allows you to take your HTML. Have already created one. Let me try it again on a separate window. So you just go to Netlify Drop. You can see Netlify Drop. That's if you do not have a Netlify account already. So it's loading. It's just like an upload, right? You just drop your file here and you're live. It's as simple as that. So I'm sure if we set the timer at the beginning when I started talking about validation, I don't think it's up to 15 minutes. So what you need to do, just go to your application and drag the HTML file that ChatGPT gave you or Gemini gave you and just put it here. Okay, 1 minute, let me get my file. Yeah, so I have my file here. I just drop it and that's all. It would give me a link. You see, our project is live. This step, very few ideas, very few founders get to this step. Many founders actually just keep building and building and building to the point where they're just building for themselves. So it's very good at this point with the pace and the velocity of artificial intelligence to be able to go to go live very fast, very, very fast. So yeah, we're live, right? If you go to this application, this link, of course, this might not be the final link you want to share with your users, right? You might want to get a domain, something to put in front of it, but at least zero in less than 30 minutes, you went from idea to validation ready. Yeah, so another thing you might want to do, if you don't have a Netlify account, you can sign up. So if you sign up, you'll be able to, because this is a temporary link, it would go off after some time. So if you sign up here, you'll be able to make changes and link um your own domain or something you have. So for example, this is the signed in view, right? So this is the link I shared. So with this, I can change the domain, I can add my own domain, shipyard, right? That's the name of our product. Dot whatever .com .ai whatever, and then you'll be able to see. So from there, you take your link and share with the world for validation, right? Of course, you want to make sure your landing page communicates what you do because you might not want to just push what ChatGPT gives you at first. You might want to add some pictures, make it cleaner and all of that. But if it's just a form, you just want to communicate the offer, what you do, how it benefits people, and a simple form to collect. Yeah. So we went from idea to live. Although it's still waitlist, right? We went from idea to live in minutes. So with that, what we'll do a couple of days would okay, I'll drop the link. You guys can actually join the waitlist. So in if it was an actual founder, person would keep an eye on this as the list keeps growing. He knows, oh, okay, this is actually needed. In some cases, if you have some little capital, not so much, you can run some tests, social media, get on Instagram, get on TikTok, just to get your page live, right? And get more eyeballs. So that you're able to see people and as more people join your waitlist, it shows interest, right? Because the bare minimum that people would do if it was a real app is actually log in. So this is also showing, oh, someone is interested in this. And from there, you can keep communication is also very important. You just don't want to keep people just hanging there. You need to send a series of, not series, you don't want to spam them, but some communication so that people know, oh, our app is this, our app is that, right? So it's building in public, right? People are aware, people are interested from day one. It's building in public 0 to. So you might want to have like a newsletter. I think we built an agent for an automation for newsletters, right? Then you can hook that up to this since you have their emails in a way that is not spammy. Just keep that little community you've started building, keep them active, keep them informed, right? That is what you need to do to validate. So what have we done? We have answered the question of how the wrong way and the right way to go about it. Wrong way to, okay, I think some people joined us later. The wrong way, and which is the way many people do it, they just go to whatever AI and say, build me this, build me that. But the right way is to break things down, start with the foundation, the most important features, add constraints, the features you want, how you want it to be, and all of that. And then that way you're able to get a predictable MVP. And the three questions, what problem am I solving? Who is it for? What features do we need and what am I not building? Right. So there's still a lot more to do. We're actually going to build those products. We're actually going to build these products live in maybe in the second part and the third part. So we're going to deploy it and we're going to use it. So now we're in validation stage. I would share the link and then maybe some instructions on how to set up the Airtable and whatever. You don't have to use Airtable. There are many tools. Like I said, tools are not the problem now. It's even too much tools becoming the problem. Yeah, so at this point, we've not written any code, and our link is out there. Our product is more alive than we starting with all of the features and not actually going out there because the users at the end of the day they're out there, and you want to get in front of them as quick as possible. Yeah. So we're gonna be building in the subsequent weeks. It's gonna be actually full builder. We're gonna be building it right here. So it's shipyard, and we're gonna deploy it live. But I think maybe we go to Q&A now, so that I'll be able to answer some questions before we call it a day. So over to you guys. Questions, ideas, reactions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you. This is so enlightening, I would say. So please, do we have questions, clarifications, comments? Okay, I can see all the likes. Thank you for all the reactions. So do we have any questions at the moment? So let me just start by asking one question already. So this now, would you advise for, because of course we have some of us different levels or different strengths. We have different strengths. Our businesses are at different levels. Some already have a huge amount to invest or praise. Sorry, don't worry. The recording is going to be posted. Sorry, Caleb, I needed to answer that. So praise is saying she joined late. We're going to have the link to the recording posted in the community, so you don't have to worry. So what I'm saying is, for someone who is a startup, like really startup with little or no funding, which one would you recommend? Because, okay, if we have the trial session or we have the waiting list, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have money to maybe continue or to be able to sustain it. So what would you advise? Like, are there really other platforms that a startup with zero or no funding can use and it will give maybe a longer period for you to probably get funds, gather yourself, but not lose whatever it is that you have implemented on that platform.
Okay, you mean the tools we're using?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The tools, when selecting the tools, I particularly was conscious of cost, right? So we would be building all of the build outs with zero costs. The tools we're going to be using, we won't be spending one. So ChatGPT is one tool. At least the free tier is robust enough. It might not give you everything you want. Gemini is a bit more friendly, which is also free. You even get like a free API key. Airtable has a free trial, a huge free trial. So with this, you can grow your database to maybe like, I'm not sure, maybe like 5,000 or whatever. And if you're having 5,000 in your waitlist, then your problem is not costs anymore. It means
Yeah.
there's interest, right? You need to
Convert. Yeah.
quickly, yeah, yeah. So yeah, all the tools we're going to be using, they'll be free at least.
Okay. Okay.
It's tools that would have a starter,
Okay.
that'll be
Thank you,
starter
Chilan.
friendly. Yeah.
Okay.
From the
Thank you.
yeah, I think I showed some of those tools here. Like GitHub is free, but you don't even need to worry about GitHub. We'll try to be as not technical as possible. Vercel is free, largely. Neon will be our database when we actually build out the application. There are many other options. They don't have to be limited to this. You can use Supabase. You can use Planet Scale. There are a number of options, but this is they have a fair free tier. V0 or whatever tool you want to use to build your UI is also very friendly. So yeah, the goal of the series would be build fast, build cheap, build quick.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you so much. So do we
All
have any
right.
other question? Dennis, are you totally on with everything Caleb has taught us this evening? Joel, Elijah? Okay. 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 Great. Okay, great.
All right, that's cool. So we there's actually still a lot more. The actual product part where we build out the products. We'll pick that up in the next session. We'll start with authentication, right? Since it's a multi-user application, it's not just a public application. We're going to start with authentication. If I go back to the PRD, we're going to start with authentication. Although people will be able to post publicly, right? You post your idea, you post your problem, people can see it, people can upvote, you can categorize them. Then, but for you to be able to for people to, you need to be tied to an account. So we're going to start with user authentication in such a way that even the most non-technical person would be able to do it. Right. If you dive into that today, to take some more time. So I think this is a good place to stop. You can, so for all those ideas that you have, you can start dusting them up, writing out the PRDs and creating the landing pages. At least go from zero in your head. In your head, you're already seeing the billions, right? But you need to bring it out. You need to manifest it. So bring it out, create the landing page, um, write the PRD, and yeah, connect it to whatever tool you want to use. There are many other tools. Go. You can even, for people that are very familiar with N8N, if you're very good with N8N, you can even skip the Airtable phase completely. You can even skip the waitlist phase, because with N8N you are actually able to build authentication inside of N8N as an API and then connect it to your application. So yeah, maybe so pending the time we meet again, hopefully next week. I'm not sure. Start getting some things in place so that by the time we're building, we can go together and build together, and you can apply all of those things into your own products so that we can all profit with AI.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you for a good use of time. Okay. So we meet bi-weekly. So that means we're going to see you in 2 weeks. And for those who are joining us late, the link to the recording is going to be posted in the community. So do well to check the community. I think a lot of people are coming in very late, but that's fine because tonight's training is recorded. So you can always catch up before we go into building the products full force. So you can catch up on where we are right now, so that you'll not be left behind by the time we move forward. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone for your time. Also, thank you so much, Caleb, for doing this. I know your time is gold, so I really, really appreciate you for doing this. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you, Ibukun. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, everyone on the call. And if Ruth, everybody, thank you. If I did not get to mention your name, please pardon me. So we'll see you next time. Keep building, guys. All right. Good night.